As Gerald recalls the humiliation he suffered at the hands of Rave, he finally arrives at Balberg Harbor, determined to see for himself if it's true that Jill has become the monster's consort. Zeke and Camilla discuss the prince's sudden arrival. It's so unexpected that they haven't even had time to prepare. Camilla comments that that's exactly her goal, to catch them off guard. She also mentions that she wants to discuss the future of both countries with Jill present. Just then, Jill appears, looking rather displeased. Camilla and Zeke ask her to show a friendlier expression. Lady Sphere suggests that she should smile like ladies do. However, when Jill tries to smile, she looks more like a villain. Jill apologizes, explaining that softer expressions don't suit her. Lady Sphere insists that she has full confidence in Jill's charm, and that might be enough. She also suggests wearing an accessory which Jill thinks is a good idea, as she could use it to hide a weapon. Jill's disdain for Gerald is evident. Lady Sphere tries to calm the situation again, reminding him that Gerald thinks she's been kidnapped, so she needs to prove to him that she's happy and well treated. It all starts with her expression. Jill admires Lady Sphere's strength and promises to do her best. She then introduces herself to Hadis, who is shocked to see her so beautiful in that dress. He also suggests braiding her hair, as it's her specialty. Embarrassed, Jill refuses, saying that she's fine the way she is and that he looks much cuter anyway. Camilla and Zeke, who are present, remind them that there will be time to discuss such things later, as the prince is about to arrive. Hadis agrees, and mentions that Kratos has accused him of kidnapping Jill, so he needs to be there to deny it. All he has to do is smile. However, Hadis is shocked to see Jill looking increasingly terrifying. Jill explains that she sees this as a hostile encounter, and that her expression is simply a reflex. Hadis doesn't believe it, and tells her that Gerald is only coming to get her back. Jill quickly replies that that's impossible, as the prince's real target is probably him. She assures Hadis not to worry, as she will protect him at all costs. Unable to handle it, Hadis faints. On the way to the meeting, Jill realizes that both Hadis and Sphere know how to behave, but she feels a little depressed that she can't smile sweetly, as all she feels for Gerald is rage. Hadis scolds her for spending so much time thinking about the prince, wondering if there's something between them, perhaps a secret engagement. He says there's a thin line between love and hate. Jill quickly denies it, even though she knows Gerald might try to kill her in 6 years. Hadis immediately changes plans. Jill tells her she'll stay there and not let the prince see her. Jill refuses, arguing that it would be dangerous and do nothing to dispel the rumors of her kidnapping. Hadis doesn't care, declaring that she is his wife and he won't hand her over to Gerald. The two begin to argue and struggle, but Camilla and Zeke quickly intervene. Camilla tells Jill not to be so rough, as the Emperor is just jealous, and they need to prove that they get along. Jill then promises to try harder to smile. Hadis suggests there is a way to make her act sweeter, though it might be a bit extreme. Jill replies that it doesn't matter, she'll just make him tougher. Before doing so, Hadis asks Jill if she'll hate him afterward. She replies that she won't, adding that she always keeps her word. Fully prepared, Jill is surprised when Hadis takes her in his arms and kisses her. With this, she really looks like an innocent and adorable young girl. Camilla and Zeke, seeing this unfold, feel the urge to hit the Emperor. Jill mentions that it was her first kiss. Hadis immediately asks if, that being the case, she might want to repeat it later, in private. Jill, truly embarrassed, promises she won't hate him. However, the sound of a slap echoes throughout the castle. At the meeting with Gerald, he thanks them for receiving him, but states it's time to talk about Jill. Jill, in turn, says there's nothing to discuss. Hadis apologizes, explaining that they had just had a lover's quarrel before entering, and that his fiancée is still very young, so he asks Gerald to excuse her behavior. He adds that, in part, it might be Gerald's fault, as the moment he mentioned the prince was coming, he automatically became jealous. Jill realizes that Hadis wants to pretend her anger was due to jealousy, but for some reason that only annoys her more. Hadis then apologizes for not having responded sooner to the Servel family, but requests that they stop saying he kidnapped Jill. Gerald wonders how it's possible for an emperor to allow himself to be struck, but Hadis quickly responds that he is an emperor who kneels before his wife. Jill tells Hadis that with her, all he needs is a heartfelt apology, and tells Gerald not to worry about her, apologizing for having made him come all this way. Gerald realizes that Jill has no intention of returning. He mentions that their engagement had already been decided, and he doesn't understand why she has renounced a future as his wife, leaving her family and country in such a manner. Jill replies that it is because the Emperor needs her. Hearing this, Gerald comments that in that case, it would be enough that he no longer needed her. He adds that the terms of their engagement required her to be under 14 years old and to possess the ability to see something His Majesty indicated, as he was looking for a young girl with enough magic to see the dragon god and thus protect herself from the curse. Gerald wonders what would happen if Jill is unable to avoid this curse. Furthermore, he has heard about the incident at the port and that Hadis has chosen not to punish the Marquis for political reasons. This will make the people feel relieved and believe that the curse is just a rumor. However, if the curse is not broken, Marquis Bale will lose his life anyway. At that moment, Wardia bursts in with an urgent message. Beale stopped breathing. Later, Jill, along with Camilla and Zeke, discuss Beale's passing, as it seems that he suffocated in his cell. Jill immediately asks about Sphere, but is told that he has already gone to identify the body. Despite everything her father did to her, this must be very hard on her. Zeke immediately suggests that they ban talking about it, but Camilla quickly replies that it is too late, as the entire town already knows, and now everyone is afraid of the Emperor's curse. Jill states that it is probably Gerald, as he said something disturbing during the meeting. Now, with the passing of the Marquis, people will come wanting to blame the Emperor for his curse. Jill knows that Gerald has already used these methods in the future she knows of. Camilla asks Jill if she remembers the story of the magic shield, as it seems there is a second part. After protecting these lands with the magic shield, when the goddess found out that they had nullified her curse, she was enraged. The shield would have shattered her if she had come in her true form, so she disguised herself as a black spear and ordered it to be brought here. Jill then asks if he's referring to the goddess's sacred spear, inherited by the Kratos family. Zeke is surprised that it actually exists, as he thought it was just a legend, like the dragon god's celestial sword. However, that sword had disappeared centuries ago. Camilla continued the tale, explaining that the spear traveled across the sea, arriving at the Rave Empire. A member of the Kratos family presented it to the imperial couple, and the spear pierced the dragon consort. Realizing it was the goddess, the consort retaliated with the sword, sealing the goddess within her own shadow at the cost of her life. In the end, the magical shield dissolved and the curse on the land was broken, though the goddess was unable to regain her true form. As they discussed the legend, Jill wondered if they were planning to target Hadis for being the cursed emperor. However, no one was sure who would want to harm him, though it was clear that the death of Marquis Bile would increase the public's resentment towards the emperor. At that moment, Lady Sphere entered, emanating a dark, sinister aura that made her seem unlike herself. Zeke and Camilla suggested that she rest, but Sphere insisted on greeting them first. Her eyes were completely black and she conjured a black spear, attacking Jill without warning. After evading the attack, Jill was confronted by Sphere, who revealed herself to be the true wife of the Dragon Emperor. Zeke and Camilla attempted to intervene but were overpowered. Seizing the moment, Jill kicked Lady Sphere away and disarmed her. Hadis appeared, confronting the malevolent entity, but Jill managed to save Sphere's body and informed Hadis that Sphere was being controlled. However, Hadis seemed unconcerned and claimed that she would finish them both off. Sphere, now possessed, laughed maniacally, claiming that she was the only one who could love Hadis. She launched an attack at Jill, but Hadis intervened just in time to stop the spear, as the spear transformed into the dragon consort, claiming that she was the only one for Hadis. Jill destroyed it with her bare hands. Hadis berated Jill for saving Lady Sphere, stating that if she had not intervened, she could have ended the entity. Jill defended her actions, saying that she had driven out the shadow. Hadis suggested that the entity could still be hiding within Lady Sphere's body and asked Jill to hand it over. However, Jill refused, claiming that the shadow had declared itself to be Hadis's true wife. Hadis responded coldly, stating that he never expected Jill to ask for his fidelity, especially since she did not love him. He then ordered Camilla and Zeke to gather all the young women in the city, warning them to be especially wary of girls under the age of 14 and to annihilate anyone who became violent. He justified the action by saying that they would use an evacuation as an excuse, and anyone who refused would be charged with treason. A distraught Jill begged Hadis to reconsider, arguing that this forced approach would only further alienate people. Hadis dismissed her concerns, stating that there would be no exceptions. He expressed doubt that anyone in the city was suitable for the entity, but acknowledged that if the curse was not broken, it would be a major problem. Jill recalled that the goddess Kratos was unable to regain his original form and that his powers awakened when he turned 14. If the story was true, girls under 14 could not become vessels of the goddess. To repel her, they would need a child. Hadis orders Camilla to take Lady Sphere and keep her within his protective barrier. Before he leaves, he mentions that it would be easier to end Sphere's life, but that he is giving in to Jill's wishes because she is his wife. Later, Jill reflects on her situation in her room, cursing Hadis for not trusting her. She thinks about the black spear, the goddess vessel, and the dragon consort. Everything seems to confirm that the legend of the two gods marrying is true, and now she is trapped in it. Despite all this, she remembers the good things about Hadis. Although he faints easily and is unreliable, he cooks well, taught her how to make apple bunnies, and granted her wishes, even when others insulted him. He wanted them to be husband and wife and sought his love. She realizes that she should thank him for saving her. When Jill leaves her room, she runs into Hadis. They both hesitate, unsure of their feelings, but the little dragon appears and urges Hadis to apologize. At first, Hadis refuses, claiming he has done nothing wrong, but eventually admits that he does not want Jill to hate him. Jill asks to see his left hand, and when he does not respond, she takes it herself. She notices the open wound and offers to heal it with her magic. Hadis warns her not to be nice to him, or he will not know how to respond. Jill tells him that if he does not want her to be nice, he should not apologize so quickly. She points out that despite claiming to want her love, he has made no effort to get close to her. He has not even called her by her name. Rave tries to explain, but Hadis stops him, saying that they must not love each other because that would only lead them to hell. Before they can continue, guards arrive, informing Hadis that the city is on fire. It soon becomes clear that it is a trap. Hadis orders Rave to protect Jill and sets up a barrier. He quickly takes out the guards, who turn out to be the husbands and fathers of the girls he had ordered captured. These men had started the fire to create chaos and blame the Emperor's curse. Wardia arrives and asks what has happened. Hadis explains that the infiltrators are villagers trying to kidnap the women. Hadis asks if the fire is real, and Wardia hesitantly confirms it. He knows that those who have rebelled against him want his head, but he asks Wardia to do her best to put out the flames while he takes care of the rest. Jill tries to stop Hadis, but the little dragon assures her that he is safe within the barrier. With a sad look, he apologizes, leaving Jill in a mix of worry and helplessness. If you've reached this point in the video, don't forget to leave the word exquisito in the comments. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.